Good morning, students. Today let us discuss the applications of SAP theory. Okay. Now there are 5 applications. Now which are these 5 applications? First one is predicting favorable equilibria. Second one is the geochemistry of the elements. Third one is stability of complexes. Fourth one is formation of complex with ambidextrous ligands. And last one is toxicology. Okay. Now we shall see one by one all these applications. Alright. First one is predicting favorable equilibria. Okay. Now how do you predict favorable equilibria? The product formed in a reaction can be predicted from hard or soft interactions. You know that hard base always try to combine in hard acid and soft base always try to combine in soft acid. This you have already learnt. Okay. Now according to this first application, the product formed in a reaction can be predicted from hard and soft interaction. For example, mercury chloride, what is the formula? HgCl2. Okay. So it is made to combine with the potassium fluoride, that is Kf or potassium iodide. Now which product do you expect? Here mercuric is a soft acid and iodide is a soft base. So we can predict that mercuric iodide will be found in the products. Okay. So this is the application of one of the applications of SAP theory. Now which is the second application? Geochemistry of the elements. In nature, hard acids are found associated with the hard bases and soft acids are found associated with the soft bases. Thus, hard acids tend to occur as oxides, silicates, carbonates and fluorides, whereas soft acids occur as sulfides, selenites and tellurides or as free elements, and borderline acids occur as sulfides. Okay. Now third one is stability of complexes. Now how do you find the stable complexes and unstable complexes? Okay. The complex formed by the combination of a metal ion which is a soft acid with a ligand which is a soft base is always stable. Okay. So if you have a soft acid it is always try to combine with soft base, therefore the complex formed is always a stable complex. Okay. Similarly, the complex formed with hard acid and hard base combination is always stable. Alright. Now which are the examples for this? Silver. What type of compound is this? Silver ion soft acid. Okay. Iodide, on the other hand, it is a soft base. Okay. So when soft acids combine with soft base, you know that always stable complex is formed. Okay. Therefore, which is the stable complex formed when silver ion combines with iodide ion? AgI2 minus. Okay. So this is a stable complex. Alright. Suppose if silver ion combines with fluoride ion, silver ion is soft acid, whereas fluoride ion is hard base. Okay. Therefore, you get AgF2 minus, which is unstable complex. Okay. The softest metal ion is gold, that is Au plus, combines with the soft cyanide ion Cn minus to form stable complex. Alright. This is another example. Now next one, fifth one, formation of complex with ambidextrous ligands. Now thiocyanate ion, what is the formula? SCN minus is ambidextrous ligand. You know that thiocyanate ion is ambidextrous ligand. It can bind to metal ions either through sulfur or nitrogen. Okay, what is the formula? SCN minus, correct? So on one side you have sulfur atom, other side you have nitrogen atom. Okay, so it can bind either through sulfur or through nitrogen. Alright. Obviously, it prefers to bind the soft metal ions to sulfur, which is soft, and to hard metal ions to nitrogen. So if it is tried to combine with the hard metal ion, it will bind through nitrogen. If we try to combine with soft metal ions, it will bind through one sulfur atom. Okay, which is soft. Now suppose if it is combines with hard metal ions, it can through nitrogen atom even for borderline. Okay. This can be seen in the structures of AuCN twice and FeNC 6 times 3 minus. Okay. Here gold is soft acid, therefore it tries to bind with or combine with soft sulfur or SN minus. Okay, and Fe3 plus is hard acid, therefore it will combine through borderline nitrogen of SCN minus. So in general, borderline metal ions also tend to bond to thiocyanate through its nitrogen donors. Okay, copper 2 is borderline, but copper 1 is soft. Thus we see that in CuNC4 2 minus, the borderline Cu2 has bonded to nitrogen, and in CuSN tries 2 minus, the soft Cu1 oxidation state has bonded to sulfur. Alright. The sixth application is toxicology. Ions of many heavy metals such as mercuric and lead are highly toxic. Okay. These ions are soft acids. Therefore, they have affinity for soft ion, that is S2 minus, which is a soft base. Okay. Sulfur occurs in the side chains of two amino acids, methionine and cysteine, which is important in maintaining tertiary structure of proteins and enzymes upon which life depends. Ingested heavy metal ion seeks out and coordinates with amino acid sulfur, disrupting protein structure and deactivating the protein. So, eventual death is the usual result of prolonged exposure to heavy metal ions. Okay. So, these are the 6 applications of SAP theory. Alright. Now, limitations. Which are the limitations of SAP theory? The Pearson-SAP principle, that is nothing but HESAB principle, states that hard acids prefer to bind with hard bases and soft acids prefer to bind with soft bases. Okay, which may be true, but it says nothing about mixed hard soft complexes. Okay, so this theory does not explain about what mixed hard soft complexes. It always says that hard acids tries to combine hard bases, and soft acids always try to combine with soft bases, but what about a mixed hard soft complex? It does not explain. Okay. So, many of the most interesting reagents of organic and inorganic reactions in chemistry are hard soft strain complexes. So, most of the organic inorganic reactions taking place in chemistry they are hard soft interactions, or they form hard soft strain complexes. Alright. So, this is the limitation of Pearson-SAP principle. Alright. So, with this chapter is over. Okay. So, please go through all this slide. Any difficulty, please contact me. Okay. So, thank you.